6 innocent people. A premeditated attack on peaceful worshippers, gunning them down, execution style. Now, the trial judge in the Bissonnette's case decided that he should not be eligible for parole for at least 40 years. Now, I think that's too little. The judge reached this sentence by applying the Protecting Canadians by Ending Sentence Discounts for Multiple Murderers Act. A previous Conservative government had introduced that act. It was meant to get rid of the bulk discount for multiple murderers that allowed them to serve all their sentences at once. But later on, the Supreme Court thought that sentence was too severe. Let's be clear. The earlier sentence would have allowed Bissonnette to be free after 60 years, and at the age of 60, after 40 years. But the Supreme Court thought that was too harsh. So he kills 6 people, and the Supreme Court thought it was too harsh to have him stay in prison until he's age 60. So they struck down the law. Now, Bissonnette will be eligible for release after just 25 years. That works out to 4 years of jail time for every murder he committed. Think about that for a second. What happened to the principle of proportionality? You get 4 years behind bars for taking the life of another human being? This is insane. And it has to stop. You know, that was back in 2022, this decision was made. 3 years have gone by, and Mr. Carney and the Liberals have done nothing to reverse it. And they can reverse it. As a result of the court's decision, multiple murderers can now be let out of prison after just 25 years. They don't even serve a single real life sentence for any of the murders. And it's not just Bissonnette. It's Justin Bourque, who was convicted for his horrific shooting spree in which he murdered 3 RCMP officers and injured 2 others in Moncton. The trial judge in this case deemed his crimes worthy of 75 years without parole. But following the Supreme Court's decision, he will be eligible for parole potentially after 25 years. Again, 3 RCMP officers dead, their families destroyed, and he will effectively serve 7.5 years for each murder he committed. That means he could walk free on his 50th birthday after taking 3 lives and injuring others. Now, Parliament has the legitimate constitutional authority and the moral duty to correct this injustice and restore common sense sentencing with no more discounts for multiple murderers. Every life matters, and someone who takes multiple lives should be held accountable for each one. That's why I'm announcing today a Conservative government will reintroduce and pass the law that empowered judges to impose consecutive sentences for killers convicted of multiple murders. The worst mass murderers should never be allowed back on our streets. For them, a life sentence should mean what it says, a life sentence. They should only come out in a box. We will do this using Parliament's legitimate constitutional authority under the Charter of Rights and Freedoms that allows Parliament to act to protect the charter rights of Canadians. And let me talk about those charter rights. I am here today to defend the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, particularly for law-abiding Canadians and victims of crime. The Liberals have systematically violated the charter rights of Canadians to life, liberty, and security of the person, as defined in Section 7. By allowing repeat murderers back out on the street, Liberals are violating the rights of law-abiding people to live in peace and security. By allowing rampant offenders with 200 or 300 convictions to be released within hours of their most recent arrest, Liberals are violating the constitutional rights of the next victim that those criminals will target. I will protect the Charter of Rights for a change. I will also. So the question is, do I respect Supreme Court decisions? The answer is yes. And I also respect the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, which guarantees life, liberty, and the security of the person to every single Canadian. That right has been trampled on by the Liberals' catch and release laws that have unleashed crime and chaos in our communities. And I will use Section 33 of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms to put an end to the Liberal crime and drug wave and to protect law-abiding Canadians against the dangers that are spreading everywhere in our streets.
My follow-up.